follow me on Facebook or on my website, you know that I encourage trainers to take a science-based approach to training, and be careful with the claims they make sure they have evidence behind them and whatnot. And one of the rebuttals, questions I get is they go, well, if you encourage such a science, evidence-based approach, how come so many of your videos are you talking about anecdotal evidence? And yeah, you preface it, you're intellectually honest, and you preface it by saying, oh, we believe, or here's our favorite, or we found. But that seems like a contradiction. And I think that's a really good question, which is why I'm taking the time to answer it. So what I want to go over is the difference between being research proven and research founded. So the first thing I need to address is anybody who's interested in science can already ding me, and they're going to go, well, science doesn't prove anything. And they're right. Science only adds likelihood that something is true. Science can disprove things, though, but that's a topic for another video. You don't have to be scientifically proven or do things that are scientifically proven, but they should be scientifically founded. So here's what I mean. You don't have to have a research study looking at every little thing that you do. So for instance, if I do a workout that does squats, chin-ups, and deadlifts in that order, and then a research study was done on that, okay, great. And then a few months later, I do them in a different order and a different rep range, and another study has, I don't need a study to be done on that for scientists to give me the okay. We know it works because those exercises, those concepts are founded in research. We know that if you overload muscles through the range of motion, they get stronger. We know about progression, said principle, specific adaptations to impose demands. So that's what I mean by being research founded versus research proven. So when you go to a lot of the videos that I talk about, let's say an exercise like a dumbbell uppercut, for instance, it's about the claims that I make or don't make. So if we look at the principle of overload and the said principle, specific adaptations to impose demands, which basically says that the adaptations will be consistent with the stress that the training puts on the body, or the stimulus the training puts on the body. So if I'm doing a dumbbell uppercut, it's an upper body pushing movement with a little bit of drive from the floor and some rotation. So it's definitely research founded to say that this might be a way to strengthen your vertical pushing pattern and to integrate in some rotation into your training and possibly improve rotation because you're using that. That's the said principle, and that's the overload principle. So that is being research founded. I don't need a scientist to look at that exact thing for so many weeks and go, yeah, Nick, we gave you the nod. So what I'm saying is, if you're saying something that lines up with the current body of scientific knowledge and principles, I would say, great, good job. However, if I made a claim that I use dumbbell uppercuts because they increase men's genital size, now we've got a problem. Because that doesn't line up with any of our current body of knowledge about physiology, right? So at that point, I'm going to say, yeah, I need to see some direct scientific evidence studying the uppercut and showing that men who did the uppercuts versus men who didn't do the uppercuts got these changes in genital size. And I know that's a really silly analogy, but I want to do something that really highlights the point I'm trying to make. So, hopefully that answers your question about the difference between being scientifically proven. Again, proven might not be your favorite word, but what I mean proven, I mean a study or studies have been done directly on the exact thing you're talking about, versus using the current body of knowledge and using the foundational principles, which, by the way, are founded in science. We know that whatever you tend to do, you tend to get good at doing. That's the said principle. We know that if you tend to overload a movement pattern, not only do you get better at using that movement pattern, but you get stronger in that pattern. Those consistently show up in the science across the board. So it's pretty safe to say that being founded in those principles is a good thing. So, hopefully that answers the question and clarifies why I'm happy to provide new exercise variations, or whatever you want to call them, are still scientifically, or still founded in science and principles, because the claims that I make and the reasons why I recommend using them and why I use them line up with the current body of scientific knowledge. Just because something hasn't been looked at doesn't mean it might not be likely to be true, but be careful about the claims that you make and make sure those claims do line up, or the purposes you use things do line up with the current body of knowledge and with principles.